How you guys doing? This is important. Oh, in reference to the guidelines of my parents, it's very important in reference to which people have those documents. And in reference to mansion properties. Oh, and somebody communicated about or somebody tried to say something about the Beverly Hills Council, that I'm supposed to be on the board of the Beverly Hills Council. Now, let's see, which person owns the most land in Beverly Hills and Bel Air? It was built by my father, wasn't it? And my grandfathers? And my grandfather and my father, wasn't it? Many things of importance, in reference to the guidelines of facts and history. Oh, which person has the most right of living in Beverly Hills? Now let's get that put in the newspapers, or the Hollywood Reporter, or the any of the newspapers, because I own all the properties of my mother and father and my grandparents forever. So it's very important, And in reference to these people that are blocking me from my mother and father's mansions, they're slandering my name, so we need to know who they are. Them blocking me from my mother and father's estates is a violation of family law. I'm the owner of the estates of my parents forever. And the satellite man's hitting me in the teeth across the upper lip. It's attempted murder. So in reference to the information, and in reference to casting offices and talent agencies that my parents owned, they need to do some news reporting on those agencies to see which one of them has tried to contact me and which ones have not. Reference to newspapers and, television stations or radio stations, which of them have tried to contact me and which ones have not. Which ones have sent me letters or which ones didn't, because I haven't received any letters from anywhere. I sound like it's hitting me there. And another thing, in reference to my mother and father's mansions, deeds departments know that they're all protected by royal family law of my mother and father and grandparents and the royal protocol in the media, which means none of them are ever for sale. They're historic places, too. Now, in reference to the information, let's look at the information of what historic landmarks in America my mother and father both owned, or my father owned, and what my mother owned, and what my grandparents owned. See, some of the mansions of my mother and father are historically documented in reference to my family history, in reference to my mother and father and family history, and my grandparents. And they're protected by royal law of family law, of American royalty, plus. So in reference to the information, which people are blocking me from my mother and father's mansions? Very important. People need to do all kinds of questioning, and there needs to be a list of girls that want to date me. Somebody needs to send me a list of female celebrities that want to date me, girls that have dated me before that might want to date me again. I don't know. Just depends. In reference to girls that are single, girls that are not in relationships. I don't date girls that are ever in relationships with other guys, so everybody knows that. They're still messing with my jaw there. That sound like me. And so in reference to celebrity females that are friends or just want to hang out or something, need it published on the internet or something, because I can't ever find anything on the internet in reference to any celebrity saying anything about me. And the Royal Protocol is my identity, which means a lot of celebrities are supposed to be posting information about me, because I own the studios. And a lot of them have known me since I was a little boy, or since it just depends on how old certain celebrities are, so, in reference to celebrity families. And some celebrity families are supposed to be like safety families for me, like certain families of Hollywood that know me and that knew my mother, and some of them knew my father. We need them to publicize something in the newspaper or on a website or something, so people can be aware of that, some people have tried to get in contact with me, but yet I haven't received any information. So somebody could say, if I was working somewhere, somebody would say, oh, we saw something on the internet. This particular Hollywood family said you can call them, or because I don't have the call list. I don't have anybody's phone numbers. You guys know that, right? And these people have been intercepting phone calls and blocking phone calls. And I haven't received any of the lawsuit monies or benefit monies. In reference to me getting kidnapped from Beverly Hills, where's the lawsuit monies? Doesn't the Beverly Hills Council have the exact time and date that I got kidnapped from Beverly Hills? And other places? And how long this hostage situation has been going on? There's lots of questions that have to be asked of people in reference to, the company executives. Of course, I'm the owner of the companies, which means, I'm on the board. Yet, still being held hostage. Haven't received any information or any letters from anybody. This is very important in reference to the facts. I have the business facts of licensing to be the owner because I was born as the owner. My parents even had documents. That document needs to be read too, that my parents gave birth to me, meaning my parents had me to be the owner of the companies. And I'm the only child of my mother and father. We need that information published in the Hollywood Reporter too. And Nationwide and USA Today and some other newspapers and websites. Any website. My parents specifically said that they had me for me to be the owner of the companies and for me to be a celebrity and entertainer too. And for me to enjoy life and spend money. We want that publicized in the media in reference to my biological parents mentioning that information. It is on documents somewhere. The Treasury probably has copies of that. So in reference to this man that's been holding me hostage, stealing my money and blocking me from my money, that man has to get charged with embezzlement and fraud and attempts of murder. And this man is obviously one of the men that's been blocking me from my female friends and my guy friends that are Hollywood celebrities. I haven't received any letters or emails from any of you. And in reference to families that are Hollywood celebrity families that have known me since I was little, or they've known me a long time, or they knew my mother and father, you guys can make some statements. You can say all kinds of things. Because some people was on the friends list or associated uncle list or associated aunt list, which, is supposed to be like friendly association of acknowledgments, And I haven't received a letter from anybody. So people need to say and mention things on the internet or on websites in reference to Hollywood celebrity friends. They can say a lot of things in reference to friendly acknowledgments, but it's got to just gonna kind of bombard the internet with the facts, man. And I'm supposed to have a 24-hour limousine where I'm supposed to be able to travel anywhere in the country whenever I wanted to, and plus I'm supposed to have access to cars so I could travel anywhere I wanted to. And I was supposed to have a gas card, which I don't have that either. It even tells you on those Treasury documents I was never supposed to have to pay for even one drop of gas at the gas pump. You know why? Because my mother and father both came from oil tycoon families. Right? And they owned gas stations, right? That's like double indemnity, me having to pay for gas at a gas station that my parents owned, Look up the information. Anyways, my parents even had house accounts for me at stores and businesses and department stores, and haven't been able to use any of those either. And I didn't receive my birth certificate, driver's license. I didn't receive my driver's license with my birth name on it that my mother had delivered to the Indianapolis courts back in the 80s. What was the name of the person that accepted the information and took it into the log information. We need that person's name mentioned in the media too. And the attorneys that was attorneys for my parents, we need their names mentioned in the media too. Just to figure out, which people are trying to do what, or which people are pretending like they didn't know who I am, or what the problem is. And in reference to the trust fund company that's holding on to my trust funds, we need their names mentioned. We need them to make video messages and information on YouTube or whatever. But, in reference to historic landmarks, there's laws in reference to a person owning historic landmarks. And don't forget, my parents' farms and grandparents' farms are historic farms. They've been around hundreds of years. My family history of my parents and my grandparents and great-grandparents owning farms in America. And they're historically protected forever from government, from any person trying to steal them. Same thing with the studios. So in reference to females, I haven't seen even one video of any female saying anything about me. Now, somebody tries to communicate names of females that might want to date me. I don't know whether to mention them or not, because I'm not sure if that's just somebody trying to communicate BS, or, the studio tries to communicate things, but like which girl or some girl likes me or something, but I don't know if that's really true, if somebody's really trying to play tricks, or some female really wants to date me, or it might have been the girl I dated before, or a girl wants to spend time with me, or a girl wants to see me in person, or what. So, people are going to have to make videos all the time, and if they block the videos, you got to sue them. You got to do something. It's very important. Anyways, I haven't received anything. Oh, and in reference to the limousine that my father bought me when I was a little boy, they need to put pictures of that on the internet too. In reference to my father and mother and the limousine my father bought me when I was a little baby. Lots of things are important when I was, young.